Hey, everybody. Part two of positioning yourself to thrive in retirement. So in the first part, we talked about kind of the broad view and the retirement's hierarchy of needs. And now we're going to drill down into each section of that retirement's hierarchy of needs, and starting with income. Income is the foundation of your retirement. It's the most important part. It's where we dwell and make sure a lot of the planning takes place. It's not only the income that you have coming in from Social Security and pension and things like that, but it's also from a budgeting standpoint. And how can we arrange this so you're going to be comfortable in retirement, right? You saved all this money through retirement. So now how much can we spend and enjoyably live through retirement without running out of money? So let's start with the budgeting side of this. It's not a dirty word. You should have a comfortable idea of what kind of money you're spending and where it's being spent. Okay, I don't need you to pinch every penny. I don't need you to have an envelope for every receipt. I need you to have a grasp on the spending that you're doing so we can make sure that we're putting the plan together properly. So I need to pays. Things like your shelter. How do you keep that shelter over your head? Are there bills involved in that? Water, sewer, electric, all that kind of stuff. Health, basic health insurance, whether you're paying for Medicare or you have health insurance that you're paying for. Food, we got to keep you fed, basic living, feeding, not going out to dinner every single night, okay? Basic enjoyment, that's Netflix, right? So that's not the travel expense, that's not the big stuff, that's just basic survival enjoyment. And then certainly if you have any debt, the servicing of that debt. So all the insurances, all the bills that you have to pay go into this category. I want to pay stuff. There's where the fun stuff comes. That's your vacations. That's the bigger entertainment, going out to movies, that's going to dinner, things like that. Hobbies, new car, all those kind of things, okay? Sometimes the car is a need to pay, but a lot of the times it's really I want to pay. It's I want the nicer car. I don't want to buy a used car. So sometimes we look at those more as a want than a need. And then there's the emergencies. We do need to think through here because I've seen people, I don't like saying irrational, but I've seen people worrying about things that are covered. I often, the most common health problems. Well, if you have Medicare, and certainly if you have Medicare plus a supplement, we've limited the ability or the need for big money to pay for those big emergencies. Certainly for a lot of retirees, dental can be expensive. But then we start looking at these expenses more realistically. How much does an air conditioner cost? How old's your car? Does it break down? What kind of car is it? How expensive are these repairs going to be? How expensive are your children? Are they still on payroll? That sometimes might be a problem. So we always got to look through these and be reasonable and have a discussion about them, because the better we understand this situation, the planning becomes more concise and appropriate for your situation. So now we need to start matching up the income to these bills. And one thing that I'm always adamant about is that our need to pays are paid by Social Security and pension income. We need to have guaranteed income coming in to pay those bills, okay? Otherwise, universally, I've seen people uncomfortable with their situation. I've seen people with $600 a month Social Security, and that's it for guaranteed income. Millions in the bank, but living on top ramen because they're so scared of running out of money. So it's so important that we really scrutinize this and make sure that we have enough guaranteed income to pay those base living expenses. Then there's the I want to pays. That's what your savings is for. That's why you went through your entire life saving and investing and growing that nest egg for retirement. It's so you can go have fun in retirement. So if you certainly have excess income, you can use that on the fun stuff, but your savings is there for the fun, and that makes it simple. You look at your situation and you say, hey, my Social Security and pension income pays the bills. We have this whole nest egg of savings just for fun stuff. And boy, once you start seeing this and realizing this, it makes it so much easier to spend some of this savings, okay? And then we recognize where our emergency funds are. Certainly savings can be used for emergency funds, but also the big one that we always hear about is long-term care. Oh, I need to preserve all my savings just in case I need long-term care. Well, I got news for you. You probably aren't living in your house at that point. And so the sale of your house and all the equity that was in that house is going to be dumped into your savings account. And now you have a huge nest egg, even if you spent all the savings before then. So don't forget the value of your house. Most people that end up in long-term care, that equity is what helps them pay for it, because your income doesn't stop. That Social Security check doesn't stop. That pension check doesn't stop. And if you had any of those income annuities, they're guaranteed for life. There's no stopping of that income. So you just need to supplement that income. And typically the equity in the house is bigger than any long-term care insurance policy you're going to get anyways. So from there, we have to address budgeting concerns. Income that doesn't pay the bills creates an uncomfortable retirement. And retirement without enough savings for emergencies and fun is also very uncomfortable. So we have to have balance. You have to have income that pays the bill and savings for the fun stuff and the emergencies. So we create that balance. This plays into, should I pay off my mortgage or not? On all those wonderful questions, we've got to look through your situation and make decisions on what the best way forward is. So if there's problems, if there isn't balance, if we have more bills than income, well, we need to reduce bills or increase income. It's really that simple. But going through this process, recognizing there's a problem is the key. That's where most people fumble up here. They don't recognize what the problem is, why they're uncomfortable. So recognizing that you have more bills than your guaranteed income, that becomes an easy thing to fix, right? I mean, how logical is it? Reduce your bills or increase your income, one of the two. Well, I got news for you. If you've got lots of savings, a big imbalance, you got lots of savings and little income, the savings can actually fix this because income annuities then become useful, okay? And plus you might get a free dinner out of it too. Then there's an option of maybe a reverse mortgage. What if you had a big mortgage on your house and if we eliminated that mortgage payment, that fixed the budget problem? Well, that may be a solution there. So those, of course, are the two most controversial words out there. You've got annuities and reverse mortgages. People seem to have stigmas about them. Look, if you don't need them, great. But if you do need them, they're wonderful. They're great tools when used properly, okay? The other options are delaying Social Security so you can get a higher Social Security, delaying pensions too. Some people take their pensions too early, or maybe even a part-time job. Not a big fan of going to that extent. I would look at reducing bills first, downsizing your house. There's lots of wonderful things you could do, okay? So what if it's savings that are problems? Maybe you got great income, but you don't have enough savings. So obviously the answer to that is just save more. So how? Well, continue to spend less than you make. I mean, I just met somebody in a very similar situation to this, low on savings, but great income, $7 grand a month, but only spends $4 grand. So just kind of like you go through your life, you save to spend, save to spend, save to spend, and you do it diligently. It works great. Reverse mortgage can be an option here, opening up some of the equity and the value of your home. If you own your home free and clear, that then gives you that emergency cushion. You can utilize the equity in the home to pay for long-term care. And again, if there's a stigma about reverse mortgages, it's fine. If you don't need one, don't use it. Otherwise, go watch the videos on reverse mortgages. There's nothing wrong with them, okay? So downsizing real estate can be an option. I've seen people go into retirement with little savings, decent income, but over half their net worth in the value of their house. Maybe downsizing might be a better option. And then a part-time job certainly will help you save more money too. But again, last worst case scenario, we're retired for a reason. We don't want to have to go back to work. So the last part I want to talk about is the spending your last dollar on your last day, okay? Spending your last dollar on your last, we know that's impossible. There's no clock that says how long we're lasting. Wouldn't that be nice if it was kind of a battery sign? We knew exactly how long we were living. So the idea of this is with proper planning, we're going to free you up to be able to spend some of this money. So some of the things we got to do: own our own shelter. Okay. That's a priority. We don't want to have a big mortgage. We certainly don't want to be renting. That's the worst thing you want to be doing. Okay. So own your shelter, and you want minimal costs on that shelter. Yes, theoretically, a reverse mortgage is okay. If you have no heirs and you're really diligently trying to spend, you don't want to die with a paid up house. So you could utilize a reverse mortgage to get some of that access. Ensure possible long-term care expenses are covered. Well, usually I'm going to point back to the equity in your house. Okay, so that's something that we want to think through. How much income do you have? Is that going to cover most of your long-term care expenses? My mother-in-law has full-blown Alzheimer's, and it's $7,000 a month for a private room, private bathroom, 24/7 care in a wonderful facility. So that gives us some perspective. That's full-blown care. That's not assisted living. That's full-blown 24/7 care. So gives us an idea. If you have $7,000 a month income, then your income's going to pay for most of those bills. So we got to go through that thought exercise. Reverse mortgages only give you access to about 40 to 50% of the equity in your home. So you're not using all the equity. So we got to think through this, have a plan for it. The next part is maximizing your guaranteed income, making sure that you're making the right decisions on Social Security and your pension, delaying as much as you can. Because here's the thought on this. When it comes to guaranteed income, if it pays for more than your base living expenses, you feel more and more comfortable spending your savings, because if you happen to run out of money, you have great income to survive on. So we want more income. Okay, so this may take some sacrificing in the early years, or maybe spending some of your savings in the early years. Okay, the next part is required minimum distributions are inevitable for those of you with IRA money, which is pretty much everybody. So we need to understand that normalizing these required distributions helps us spread out that IRA savings, and gives us a nice little format to use it to the best of its ability. So that the IRS has created a calculation that tells us how much we should be pulling out each year and paying taxes on. And when I say normalizing it, we have to reduce the volatility. We need to make it spendable money. We need to be able to count on it, which means safe, stable investing strategies are going to produce way more consistent required minimum distributions, helping us count on that as income and spend that money. Big difference there as well. All right, hopefully that helps. The next part I've got coming up is the next section on the pyramid. We've got cash and the flow of money, and how we actually efficiently make all of this work. So really the part 3 becomes extremely important, and part 4 will be the investing side of this. If we can help in any way, let us know. We always keep an eye on who's interacting with these videos and how they're being interacted with, because we're really interested in what the most useful information is for you guys, so we can create more videos for you. So let us know by liking the video, liking the series. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we're adding 2-3 videos every single week. So please subscribe and keep interacting, share it with friends, and let us know if we can help out in any way. Thanks again.